Just
You on?
Yeah. Yeah. You can give me 5 minutes to tease it.
Hello, everybody. Here we are, back with Darryl Strawberry. Darryl may be the most exciting player in over a century. 6'6", runs like a deer, hits the ball a country mile. Hey, Anna Modlin, what's happening, buddy? That's right, strawman. Synonymous with the city, with the Big Apple, with world champions. I'm going to ask him about his new book. I'm going to ask him about who he thinks would win a 7-game series between the 1998 New York Yankees and the 1986 Mets. I'm going to ask him about some of the great players he grew up with in LA. What's up, Rock? And we'll continue this Gotham week with New York greats. Tomorrow we have the captain, Keith Hernandez, right here at 6 p.m. Same bat channel, same bat time. And on Wednesday we have Gary Vee, and then Aaron Judge and Ray Lewis around the corner. So I want to encourage everybody to continue to do the right thing. Stay at home, stay safe. This too shall pass. And keep that mind and energy going every day. Try to work out every day, read every day, and hug those that you love so much. Take this time to really, reconnect and double down on love and good energy, and really think about what do you want to be when all this ends, and where do you want to go. Okay, with that, I will get my main man, Darryl Strawberry, here. I need Darryl to send me a little message, and then I'm going to loop him in. Modlin, are you having your shakes? Jesse, I love it. You've been up on Gotham week every day. I expect you to be here every day at 6 p.m. Way to go, Jesse. We have Dominican Republic represented. Thank you, Tony, 5913. I'm proud of you, too. Julie, thumbs up to you. All right, Darryl, I'm bringing you in, my man. I've invited Darryl. He should be coming up. Technology 2020. It's a beautiful thing. Darryl, I've requested you, and boom, there you go. What's up, Strawman?
What's up? What's up, brother?
What part of the world are you in?
I'm in St. Louis. I live in St. Louis.
That's right. That's right. How's the weather over there?
It's nice. Everything's nice here. It's pretty good. Where you at in MIA?
I'm in Miami. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
How's
good,
things down
man.
there?
We're with 4 kids. The girls are doing great. Obviously praying that this difficult time, goes away. But I'm trying to encourage all of our listeners or followers here to stay strong, work out, and stay, as you always told me, stay mentally strong,
Right. Well, that's the key to anything, man. We're in these very difficult times right now, and as a country, and we got to come together, and we got to stay strong for each other, and we got to lift each other up. We got to keep each other in prayer, the president, Congress, and just everybody, at these difficult times, because we're in an unknown territory like we've never been before. And it doesn't matter, how successful we have been, and we've done that, throughout our baseball career and everything. But when you hit a territory like this, it's more about the people that are out there that are really suffering. That's going to go through the very difficult time, and it's people like us, that has a voice. God has given us a voice to be able to speak, yourself and me, and for us to come online and just really tell people that we're thinking about them and we're praying for them.
Strawman, you've been through obviously challenging times in baseball and life. So have we. What are some of the things that you lean on, whether that's God or family, to help you get through difficult times? Maybe our people out there can hear a little word of encouragement from Strawman.
Well, I think it's family and friends, because in this life we're going to have some real good friends, some close friends, that are really there through thick and thin, no matter what you go through. But you're going to have a lot of people, you know, from where we come from, that's going to criticize you, but you got to keep your head above the water, because if you don't keep your head above the water, you'll drown. And drowning it could be there for anyone, whoever accepts, you know, the criticism. I've learned that over the years of playing in New York, that you're going to be criticized, and they only criticize you when you're good. They don't criticize you just to be criticizing. You know, when you was a player like yourself and me, you know, fans are going to say things because our potential always has the ability to bring greatness. And I think when we look at the times that we are in and the difficult times that we've been through, we're able to carry the message that will just really be able to encourage people today in their life, that, you know, family is important, God is important, faith is important. You know, faith play a critical time in what we're dealing with right now. If we don't see it, we'll never see it, Alex. I think we all realize that we all have been stopped at this moment in time. And we need to be sure that we prepare ourselves, embrace ourselves, just to know that loving others and helping others is probably the most important thing for us right now.
Hey, Straw, we have you have a lot of fans. A lot of people don't realize you played in 8 All-Star games, 4-time world champion. People don't remember. They remember you for your great power. They don't remember you used to steal 30 bases and you ran like a deer. But you're one of the few guys that, you know, excelled at the highest level and won championships on both sides of the city, 86 with the Mets and obviously 96, 98, and 99 with the Yanks. What is the major difference from being Queens or playing in the Bronx for George Steinbrenner, who loved you?
Well, you know, it's a big difference, you know, from playing in Queens and playing in the Bronx. You know, there's a real separation of fans because of not liking each other. And of course, they don't really like the fact that I put on the Yankee uniform, but they need to kind of get over that. The reality is I did play with the Yankees because of the boss. He was great to me. He was great to my family. And he was great to a lot of people. You know, I played in Queens all those years. Those were very important years of the start of my career, of being drafted, you know, by the organization and development coming through the minor league system, just like you did for Seattle. You know, when you a homegrown kid and you come up with your organization and you perform at a high level, you do well, and then you're put in a situation, you become a free agent, which they should never let it get to that point. And it happened for me, and of course it happened for you, and then there's going to be other opportunities for you out there, and that's what happened for me. But, you know, my days of playing in New York will always stand for being a New Yorker. You know, my thoughts and prayers are with all my friends in New York, who I love dearly up there, because they're suffering more with the coronavirus than anybody right now. And, you know, the baseball part of myself and you were great playing in New York and having an opportunity to win. I think winning is everything when you play in a place like New York City.
Who do you think wins a 7-game series between the 98 Yankees and the 86 Mets?
Well, it would probably have to be, it'll be a tight game. But you think about the fact of having Doc Gooden on the mound in a game 7.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. But, you know, you had some pretty good pitchers like Pettit and other guys on the Yankees. So it would be a really good matchup. But I think at the end of the day, we had great balance, just like the Yankees team had great balance. And I would have to give that little edge to the Met teams in those days, because I think we had a little bit of chip on our shoulder. And at the 86 team, we was a real grinder, just like the 98 Yankees were a fun team. They remind me so much of the 86 Mets, but the 86 Mets didn't drink a lot of milk. You know, I think we drank a lot of other things.
Wait, Darryl. 86 Mets.
86 Mets. Yeah, we had a whole different side to us. You know, we were a little crazy in New York City, but we had a lot of fun. We had some great guys, you know, with Keith and Wally and Lenny and all those guys on the team. Kid Carter, you know, was a phenomenal player, very nice. So, and the same thing with the 98 Yankees. We had a great team over there with the guys I played with.
Darryl, it seemed to me like I was a little kid. I was 9, and you met my brother Joe. He loves you, and he loves Doc, and my boy Moses, who works at MLB Network. You were a hero to so many people. And, you know, we had the great fortune back then to have WOR down in Miami. So we watched every game with my dad and my brother. And then we watched Kiner's Corner And my question to you, it seemed like when Hernandez and Gary Carter arrived from St. Louis and Montreal that it changed something. What did those two guys do to that young, talented group?
Well, they really changed the culture of the team, because they were veteran players. They had great experience, major league experience, and they were bringing a lot to the clubhouse. And, Carter really was going to work with the pitching staff that we had with Darling, Sid Fernandez, Doc Gooden, those guys. But what Keith brought to the table was very special because he brought a lot for the everyday players. He taught us what it was like to play in big games and what it's like to be in big situations. And he talked so much about learning how to keep left-hand pitching. And I remember one year I ended up hitting 15 home runs the opposite field against left-hand pitchers, a lot of times because of keeping my shoulder in. So with having him around and having Carter around, it just brought so much. And Ray Knight came over; he brought so much to the team too. So
yeah,
it was an exciting time. It was just an exciting time.
I remember Straw playing with obviously Ken Griffey Jr., but I got a real chance to learn from Edgar Martinez, who I always say he's the doctor of hitting. And by watching another great right-handed hitter, it allowed me to put myself in their shoes and learn from them. And then being on the plane and talking to Edgar about how I handled a big at bat or didn't handle it, those learning curves for me was great. And I remember you saying that Hernandez helped you even hitting against lefties versus lefties because you got a chance to kind of hit with him. And you have Gary Carter right in the middle, splitting the two lefties. It was fun to watch. Here's my question, Straw. I know that you're coming out with a book next year. Can you tell us a little bit about why you're writing the book and what message? I cannot wait to read it. It's going to be a great book, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm writing a new book. I'm with a company called Zondervan, and it's called about turn your season around. And I use that analogy because of playing baseball. And I remember, playing and didn't have such a great first half of the season, and the media would say, well, he's not going to have a great season. But they forgot we had the second half of the season, another 80 games. So your season's not over until you actually finish it. And I went on to end up finishing the second half and having a great season. And I think it's the same thing in life, A-Rod. I think we all deal with some challenges in life, and we go through some things. And, the book is going to be like a foundation of biblical principles to really be able to encourage people and help people about their season of life, especially with this season that we're going through right now. And everybody's taking a major loss in so many areas of their life right now. I think the book next year is going to really help people to understand that you don't give up because you have 6 months remaining in the first. You might go through the first 6 months of a storm, but the second 6 months you can turn your season around and you can finish up strong. And we know about that being ball players. We know how it goes. So you can have some ups and downs, stay with the season, or do you give up on the season? And most players end up giving up on their season. And guys like me and you, we're the type of guys where we had another second half of the season to go, so we know we wasn't finished. So we knew that if we just continue to plug through, we'll be able to overcome some of those circumstances of the first half of the season. It's the same thing that we deal with life every day. People are going through some really difficult times, and I just want them to know that God is with us in these difficult times, and we just have to at some point be still and know that this season will turn around and we will fight and get back on the other side. So the encouragement for people is just to know that your faith and operating in your faith and not the fear of things. I think so many of us are sitting around operating in fear, and we need to be sitting in faith and just know that things can turn around for the good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to read it. It's going to be, I'm sure, a great book. Like everything you do it from the heart. And the one thing that Darryl Strawberry has always been real. Ray Negron loves you. I know that he's a mutual friend of ours, and he's always talking about you. But I got a little rapid fire before we close here for you. Who was your favorite team growing up?
My favorite team was the Dodgers growing up because I grew up in LA and I saw the Dodgers ball club most of the time. So how could you not like the Garveys and the Says and all those guys?
Who was your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player was Pete Rose growing up. I just liked the way he played the game. Pete Rose and Dave Parker, because I seen Dave Parker playing right field. And I remember him having that cannon and called him Big Cobra. I liked him and Pete Rose. Those were my two favorite players growing up.
Two of my favorites, too. Toughest pitcher you ever had to face?
Toughest pitcher I had to face was Nolan Ryan. You know, I had to face him late in his career, but Nolan was a guy that had a different demeanor, and he just wouldn't let you dig in. You better get in the box, you know. that was one thing I realized, you know, facing Nolan Ryan. Don't dig in and get in the box quickly.
That's right. If you weren't a baseball player, what would you have done?
I don't know. It's probably what I'm doing today, being a preacher today. If I had not been a baseball player, I didn't know my life would turn into being an evangelist. But as I see the great T.D. Jakes and the different people, all them and Billy Graham, and see all these guys, I mean, I really love this kind of lifestyle that I have now. I think I would have kind of fell into that had I not been a baseball player.
Favorite home run you hit in your career?
The favorite home run was probably off of Nolan Ryan in the playoffs.
Ooh.
He was throwing a 1-0 shutout.
What year?
I'd never forget that 86, you know, against the Astros. You know, he was throwing a 1-0 shutout at Shea Stadium, and he had punched out like maybe 10 or 12 of us. I can't remember what, but we wasn't hitting him, and he threw me like a fastball down and in. I hit it right down the right field line and tied the ball game up, and we go on to win that ball game. Because had we not beat Nolan Ryan, we wouldn't have never won that series, because Mike Scott, we was never going to beat him.
You know, Darryl, some of your favorite home runs for me were the ones you hit in St. Louis. That ball still hasn't landed, right?
You're talking about the clock. Yeah, and I live here now.
Yeah,
they give me a hard time about that.
You hit a couple in Montreal that still haven't landed also.
Yeah, Montreal. I remember hit that one off the roof of Montreal. I hit a ball off the clock in St. Louis, but they didn't like us in St. Louis. They thought we were a bunch of pond scums. That's what they used to call us as Mets, you know, when we came there.
Well, I used to love St. Louis Mets. That was unbelievable. Ozzie Smith, Pendleton. You know, which leads me, and I guess we can close you in a few minutes here, Darryl. Thank you for your time. Today's game, you know, I keep watching MLB Network, and, you know, Jennifer says, are we going to watch anything else but baseball in this house? And I said, no. But I keep watching these great old-time games, and what I noticed was that every player, every position, growing up, we knew everybody. You know, you in L.A., you know, Ron Say and Garvey and Anderson. You know, for me, it was, you know, Hernandez and Straw and Wally Backman and Santana and Hojo, Carter. Today, we don't have that as much. I guess if you were commissioner for just a week, what kind of things would you do to make the game more popular and reveal some of our great young players?
Well, I would go back to, you know, getting the inner city parks back into play, you know, where you can get African-American young players to play the game. Because when you look back, it was a lot of African-Americans, young players, myself, Eric Davis, and all of us when we were coming up, and it was players in before that. And I think they've gotten away from that. And because young African-American players are very talented, and they don't play baseball anymore. They play basketball. And I know why they play basketball, because the LeBron James and the Kobe Bryants and all those great players, you know, and their jerseys are attractive, and tennis shoes. And I think you got to make the game more attractive for young players to be able to come back and play baseball. And when you go to inner cities, you don't even see the field. The fields are not even there no more. And those are the fields that me and Eric Davis and all of us, you know, Ozzie and all of us came out of California. A lot of guys, Eddie, you know, we grew up on those fields and playing at Compton, Jackie Robinson Stadium. So I think going back into those places and getting inner city baseballs, I would work on that to get more African-American young kids to play the game, because it was like that before, but it's no longer like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I would want to rebuild that back in and say what happened, because when you think about Jackie Robinson opened the door for all of us to get an opportunity to put a uniform on. None of us of color would play baseball if it wasn't for Jackie Robinson and what he had to go through. So he opened the door for us, so we need to continue to keep that door open and make baseball the way it used to be.
Yeah, you know, Commissioner Rob Manfred and Tony Petitti, they're making some great efforts and strides and deploying hundreds of millions of dollars to inner city. And getting back to your point, it is sad to me, as both of us love baseball. We could have played basketball and football, and we did in high school, but it would be sad that today's Darryl Strawberry, who was the #1 pick by Roger Youngworth, who also drafted me #1 and drafted Ken Griffey #1, that you would not be playing baseball today. That makes me sad. So we got to get back to that.
Well, let's not forget how great of a player you were too, Alex. Come on, you know, I mean, you were one of the elite top players of the time, you know, with Junior, Bonds and the McGuires, Canseco, and all of us, you know, that came up, you know, and you came up when, you know, you got a chance to come to New York and play with the Yankees and play with G, you know, and all you guys, you know, had a chance to win a championship. So you were a phenomenal player, man. You know, don't ever take that away from yourself, you know, what you did for the game and everything. You were the #1 pick. I remember meeting you when you was a kid down in the Instruction League, I believe.
Yeah. I was so excited to meet you, man. I was so pumped. And you were so nice to me, man. I was like, I'm meeting God.
I remember that, you know, and I just remember the player that you were. And I remember your hands were so big, you know, at the age of 18 when I met you, you know, it's like, so I just want, you know, give you your props. You're an incredible player, man. You did some incredible things in the game of baseball, and that will stand forever, you know, and you need to, you know, be proud of that because you did it. You have to still go out there and the way you performed, it was phenomenal. And I just want you to know that. So don't ever forget that.
Well, thanks, Straw. I really appreciate your time today, man. And maybe we break bread when I go Sunday Night Baseball, go to St. Louis. Maybe we get a chance to break bread and share some more stories.
Yeah, well, that'd be great, man. Well, like I said, let's just continue to pray for this country and the people that are struggling right now because they really need our prayers right now. And you've been a blessing for having me on. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you, man. I always loved you and admired you, man. Keep doing the great work.
Thank you, Straw. Appreciate you, brother. God bless.
Right.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Love you too. All right.
So there you have it. The great Darryl Strawberry. Oh, my goodness. What a talent. I love Straw, man. And, you know, he's right. You know, I think when I first entered the league, I don't have this number exactly right, but I really feel that it was over 20% African Americans. And today that number is under 5%. So I think to Straw's point, how we continue to grow this $10.7 billion industry of baseball is deploying hundreds of millions of dollars back into the youth, back into the community. Because we do not want Eric Davis, Ozzie Smith, Darryl Strawberry, Aaron Judge, Derek Jeters of the world going to play basketball and football and now soccer. It's gotten so competitive. So I want to thank Darryl Strawberry. Tomorrow we'll be back, same bad channel, same bad time, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll continue the Gotham week here. Mr. Keith Hernandez, the captain, will be talking about a lot of fun things. Keith is never boring. And on Wednesday, we'll have Gary Vee. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. At this moment, we'll say, see you tomorrow. See ya.